I'm just realizing, which is all that there ever is, because there's like not many realizations you can have. You just forget them over and over, and then remember them again. And I'm realizing again that I don't have to feel happy. It sounds ridiculous, but this is such a liberating statement. I can feel how good this feels. I don't have to feel happy. I don't have to stop feeling shame or sadness or whatever kind of pain. I don't have to stop feeling depressed. I don't have to fulfill a purpose. And that's not to say that it's bad for any of those things to happen either. That's fine. It just doesn't matter. They don't have to happen. It doesn't matter if they happen. This morning I was feeling so much pain, so much shame. I was feeling so much shame. And I could hear the voice in my head just, telling the same story that is told a lot of times, over and over, which is, it's your fault that you feel depressed. It's your fault that you feel ashamed. And if you just did the things that I'm telling you to do, then you wouldn't. Then you would feel better. Then you could feel happy again. As I'm saying it now, and as I heard it then, that sounds like a threat. That sounds like I just see this freaking mad scientist that is the mind, that has its hands on the levers for chemically induced emotional sensation. And it's like saying, if you just go for the fucking cheese, rat, then I'll let you feel good. If you go for the cheese, I'll give you the dopamine. But until you go for the cheese, I'm not letting you have it. And I'm going to give you this other stuff instead. The equivalent of the electric shock. The reward and punishment conditioning is so deep. That it's internalized. And of course it started there. Of course, the egoic entity that the mind created is kind of mad scientist overlord that this is the way that I feel, that is essentially trying to control us via chemically induced emotional response. Of course, that's what has reflected externally into society. Of course, we've developed a reward and punishment based society because that's what was existing at this very surface level of psyche. And I could hear this voice saying these things in my head, just, do the things that I'm telling you to do and you'll feel better. And it just sounded and it feels so manipulative, so shallow, so just power hungry. I can see how internally the mind has conditioned me and tries to control me by creating certain emotional sensations. By creating an emotional sensation of happiness, and that is the reward, and creating the emotional sensation of depression and shame and guilt, and that is the punishment, all to essentially get me to conform to the behavior that it's telling me to conform to. And I'm just not playing that game. I could do that. I have done that. And I know there is a surface level security there. There is happiness there. conformity. It's not freedom. It's letting something else make my choices for me. The mind is so sneaky because it says that's what you're doing now. When I'm making my own choices, when I am choosing to sit in shame, when I am choosing not to pursue happiness, which is different from joy, I would like to point out. When I am choosing not to move away from what I'm feeling or towards any other particular feeling, when I am choosing to just be with and in the emotion that is present as it's present, whatever it is, whether or not it's created by a story, it doesn't matter. When I am actually making a conscious choice to do that, the mind tries to paint it as the opposite. The mind tries to call me lazy and unmotivated and afraid. What emotion is behind that statement? To try to get someone to move by calling them lazy, unmotivated, and afraid? What emotion is driving that? That's fear. That's so obviously fear. There's not love there. Love doesn't shame. Love doesn't push. Love is never trying to get you to do anything. That is always fear. It's so ironic. That's probably not the word, because whatever. But it's ironic, it's clever, it's amazing, it's ridiculous that the mind uses the threat of you being afraid and says, it uses this statement to try to insult and bully you into doing something. You're just a wuss. It's that same mentality, that literal toxic masculine mentality. You're just a pussy. You're just a wuss. You're too afraid. You're too much of a baby to do it. What the fuck is that, man? That is so bogus. That is so clearly fear talking and trying to make even the experience of fear into a bad thing. Trying to convince me that I'm afraid, trying to threaten me into fear, and then because it has threatened me and invoked fear in me, it says, see, you're afraid. See, I knew you were just a wuss. I knew that's why you weren't doing these things, because you're just afraid. Because I made you afraid, because I injected that emotion there, because I put that there. It's like a pickpocket calling the police on you, sticking the money that they stole in your pocket and saying, see, I knew you took it. I knew you were the culprit. It's a setup. It's a setup. It's a con. The mind is a fucking con artist. I'm not mad at it. It's amazing. I'm just pointing it out. This is... It's a con. And I'm sick of falling for it. And as I'm hearing this voice again saying all these things, you gotta do this, you gotta do these things. If you just did these things, then you would be happy. That sounds pretty conditional to me. Again, not saying there's anything wrong with that, just pointing out that's pretty conditional. Is a happiness like that really what I even want? Do I need, maybe that's a better question, do I really need a happiness like that? A happiness that is conforming to the demands of the mind? I felt into it. I went back through, what if I did? What if I did all of this stuff? How would it feel? Well, it would feel like I had a purpose. It would feel like I had a purpose and I was fulfilling this purpose and I was doing a good job and I could give myself the attaboys, could pat myself on the back. It could feel like I was doing it. I was doing something that I was meant to do, some great purpose being fulfilled. And then I thought, well, first of all, it felt pretty exhausting. I could feel into the exhaustion of that. There's a surface level high associated, but also it feels pretty sick, it feels pretty icky, and it feels exhausting. And then I thought, or I received the thought, or I had the thought, I don't know where it's coming from. What if I just don't fulfill my purpose? How about I just don't? And for me, in that instant, it felt so freeing. That was such a freeing thought to move into, of maybe I just don't. Maybe I just don't fulfill my purpose. I'm not going to fight this story. I'm not going to deny anything. I'm just saying, maybe I just don't. And that felt so open and free from the enslavement to happiness, to this constant chasing of a temporary chemical high. I don't have to chase that high. I don't even need that high. There is deeper sensation here. And I am realizing, I am feeling more and more that so many of the emotions that we feel are manufactured. I'm not saying they're not a real experience, but that they are conditioned. They are conditioned and therefore conditional emotions, and that makes them just a part of the shallow surface level experience. Again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there's just not that much there. I am saying I don't need those things. I don't need happiness. And I don't need to escape shame. I don't need to run from it. Neither of these things is a big deal. Neither of them holds that much weight. They're just so much dust. It's fine. It's fine to feel them. It's fine to feel them. It just doesn't matter. I don't need to chase them. I don't need to run from them. They can be there. They can not be there. Whatever. So many of these emotions are created by the conditioning. It's that we're conditioned to feel them. We're told to feel them, and then the body manufactures them. It comes up with an emotion because the mind has said, this is what I'm telling you to feel. We have this experience, we feel this. We have this experience, we feel that. We don't have an experience, we feel this. And the body, in its way, is just following along. But when I try to tap into emotions like unhappiness, even happiness, I can't find them. They're so thin and translucent that when I look directly at them, they disappear. And there's some kind of sensation left there, but it's not anything that I could label. It's not something that I could put a label on. It's indescribable, and it's really not pleasant or unpleasant. It's not good or bad. It's just kind of vague feeling. The deep that I feel, I can't really look directly at it either. So there's the thing. But when I try, it doesn't disappear. It's just that I can't look at it because it's coming from me. These other emotions, they feel inserted. I don't know how else to explain this. I'm aware it sounds a little crazy, but they feel as though they have been placed into me. Even something like happiness, certainly something like shame. I'm not judging them. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying they don't feel like they emanate from me. They feel thin, they feel shallow. They feel unimportant and ultimately irrelevant. This happiness is irrelevant. I don't need it. This shame is irrelevant. I don't need to get away from it. It can be here or not be here. That's fine. That's what I'm feeling. The desire that I feel is to make my own choices about how I respond to experience. Whatever is here is what's here. I am not interested in controlling what's here. It doesn't matter. I don't need to control it. I want to experience it. I want to see it. I want to let it move through. It means nothing, and it doesn't affect me. I want to be uninfluenced and uninfluenceable. Externally and internally. The influence of the mind, I'm done with it. And that means that includes all of the emotional sensation that is generated there. The positive and the negative. I'm done with reward and punishment. I'm done being motivated. I'm done doing anything for a reason. I am done using anything as a means to an end. I'm done with ends. I am at the end of ends. Yes, I want to enjoy myself, absolutely. I just don't believe that any conditions, external or internal, need to be present for that to take place. I don't need my body to meet certain conditions for me to enjoy it. It doesn't need to feel or look or behave any particular way. I don't need my emotions to meet certain conditions. They don't need to feel or behave any particular way. I don't need my mind to behave in any particular way. I don't need certain thoughts or the absence of certain thoughts. I don't need any of that. I don't care. I don't need it to conform. The only thing that I need is not to conform. And that's easy. That's just a continuous choice. That's just a continuous choice to not ask anything. When I am not asking anything to conform, then I don't feel this pressure to. Then I don't feel myself molding into a box, into a shape. So that's the power that I have. That's the choice that I have, that I can make continuously. Not asking my mind to change the way that it's being. Not asking the emotions that are present to change. Not asking them to serve me in some way, to perform for me. not asking my body to serve or perform or conform, letting all of it be, and then standing in myself and seeing I am being. And there's this fine line, and I keep treading it. I trip over and over, but I am determined to master the treading of this line between conformity and resistance. It's not resistance. It is allowance of the voices that scream at me and demand that I conform. It is allowance of them to say those things. It is my choice not to push against them, but also not to follow them, not to go along with them, to be unreactive to them, which doesn't mean that I'm ignoring them. This is a key thing that I'm practicing understanding. It's not ignoring, it's not denying. It's not a resistance, it's just a non-conformity. And that means that I uphold the non-conformity of everything. I uphold and celebrate that the mind does not conform to something that I think, which is really more of the mind, that the mind thinks it should be. That the emotions don't conform to something that something thinks they should be. That the body doesn't conform, that the world doesn't conform to me. I celebrate the non-conformity of all. I celebrate that I am not exerting control or dominance over anything. And in that celebration and awareness of my non-dominance, not submission necessarily, but non-dominance. Because submission in this instance, I'm feeling as playing the game. It would be going along with it. It would be allowing the domination. It would be allowing the influence. This is just a non-acceptance of influence. I accept that it's there. I accept that it exists. I accept that this is happening. I'm just not taking it on. I'm not accepting it as reality, as authority, as something that it isn't. The mind is not authority. Authority is authority. And where authority lives is right here. So the authority that resides within me, in my chest, will determine for me. It does not determine anything for anybody else, including the mind and the emotional field and the body. It doesn't determine anything for those. It lets them all be. It lets them be free. There is a determination in here, but again, it's the determination to be myself and nothing that anybody else wants me to be. Nothing that the mind is telling me to be. Nothing that the mind is telling me that I want to be. I don't have to be told what I want. I don't have to wonder what I want. If it's a genuine desire, this is what I'm recognizing more too. If it's a genuine desire, it just happens. It emerges from me. There's no questioning of it. There's no searching for it. There's no wondering if that would be fun or not, if that's something I want or not. None of that. Thought is not involved in actual desire. It's just there. If there is a desire in me, I find it fully formed. It just reveals itself. And it's uncontested. It's so clear and pure and obvious that of course I'm going to go that way and do that thing. I don't have to convince myself. And this genuine desire is without purpose or cause. It's not trying to achieve anything, and it doesn't have a reason for being there. It's just there. This is what I am noticing about genuine emotion and genuine desire. It just appears. It's spontaneous and it's untethered. It is not connected to a story. It's not a part of some grand scheme. It doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't have a meaning or a motive. It's just there. It is frivolous. It's free. It's this free floating sensation in me, emanating from me, that again, it comes forth full, complete, whole, satisfied in itself. It's not missing anything. It's not seeking anything. It's not asking anything. It's just there, shining. There is this layer of genuine emotional sensation and desire, and it is so unlike anything that the mind creates. It is so unlike these surface level desires and emotions that are all part of a story, part of this tangled web of narrative, of if-then statements, things that have a reason or are clearly a result of something, and then we have this result-driven mindset. It's all bogus. It's not genuine. It's artificial. It's fake. These are like reproductions of the real thing. And the mind is passing them off as legitimate. They're forgeries. These are forged emotions that aren't genuine, and they don't belong to us. That the mind is creating and saying, this is what you feel, this, and you feel it because of this, and it's just this whole la, 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 la. Never look any deeper. Never look. It's got to keep it moving quickly, because if it paused for long enough, you would look and you would go, oh, this is not real. This is this flimsy little thing. This isn't. It's real the same way that the reproduction of the Mona Lisa is a real painting. Sure, that's a real painting. It's not the Mona Lisa, I can promise you that. That's what this like counterfeit money bullshit emotion is. And if we can pause long enough to see it, it's frightening, and the mind is going to create fear to keep you from seeing through it. It's because it doesn't want you to. The whole power structure of the mind, its illusion of authority, is going to start collapsing when we see this. So of course, examining these emotions and finding out that they're thin, they're flimsy, they don't hold water, creates a lot of fear and pain, because that's what the mind is still trying to use these emotions, these surface level chemical sensations, to get you to stop doing what you're doing, to get you to stop investigating. The mind is trying to punish you out of investigating, to scare you out of it, because this is what it's been doing forever. Punish and reward, punish and reward. Happy, shame. Excitement, fear. Or pride. We'll go with pride, because excitement's a different thing. There's definitely excitement at the genuine level, but pride, happiness, fear, and shame. So it injects you with these negative sensations anytime that it wants you to stay away from something that you're looking at. To try to push you away, to try to scare you away from it. Just don't move. What happens when you just don't move? What happens when you keep looking? Doesn't that make you more curious? It does me. Anybody, anything that is that afraid of me seeing what's over there, that it's going all out to try to keep me from it, to spook me from it, to push me, to bully me away from there, I want to see what's over there. I'm going to see. I'm going to see if it kills me. I want to know. I don't believe it will kill me. Or if it does, what does that mean? I want to know. I'm not going to be bullied by shame and seduced by happiness anymore. There's nothing really there. Those things aren't satisfying and they aren't frightening. Not really. They're just flimsy little artifacts. I want to see the real thing. I want the genuine. I want to know what's genuine. I want to get to that layer. And I have. Not all the time. Not consistently, but more and more. And it's so vastly different. There is a depth of sensation and satisfaction. It's a satisfaction that is underlying, not a result of. It's the emotion itself is not satisfaction, but every feeling is satisfying. It's so satisfying to feel what's really here. And that's the drive, to get to the layer, the depth, this deep part of me that is satisfied all the time. That is in the present tense. It is satisfying all the time. And everything that arises that is genuine. What's not satisfying is the surface level bullshit. And it's not, again, that there's anything wrong with it. It's just too hollow. It's just not, it's empty. It's devoid of like real life. There's such just this tiny microscopic sliver of life there that it doesn't satisfy. But neither does it upset or deter. When I'm in this place and I'm recognizing and realizing this, I don't need to be sad about not having happiness. Happiness is kind of some bullshit. And I don't need to be sad about feeling this sadness. It's kind of not a big deal. It's kind of also just some bullshit. It's like whatever. It's fine. But I know that if I keep sitting in what is, the real reveals itself to me. The true, this deeper, truer layer of sensation emerges when I see through the haze of the surface stuff and I'm not moved by it. I'm not following the mind over here. I'm not running from what it's placed behind me. I'm just here, not buying it, saying, okay, whatever, man, whatever you say, okay. I'm going along with it, but not really. You know, I'm not invested in this, really. But it's not a detachment. This is what's tricky. I want to root more deeply. I want to really get in there. I'm not attached to the surface level stuff because it's surface level stuff. Because there's nothing to attach to there. How could I be attached to it, to something as transient and translucent as happiness, as shame? It's so empty and hollow. I can't dig into anything there. So it just, I can't root in that sand. So, okay, it just pours over me. It pours through my hands. Whatever. Fine. We don't need happiness. We don't need happiness for deep satisfaction and joy, for this other place of feeling that is beyond good. I don't know how to describe it, because if I use the word good, it implies the word bad. It's not a place of good and bad. It is beyond those things. It's a deep satisfaction that does not rely on surface level emotional sensation. And because it doesn't rely on it, it doesn't matter what's at that level. We don't need happiness, and we don't need to run from shame or fear or depression. Those things are fine. They don't need to go anywhere. None of that needs to be anything other than what it is in the moment. It's fleeting. It's shallow. It's fine. That surface level weather is like, it's not even sunshine and storms. It's like a little bit of overcast and then a little bit of sun, and it's like experiencing weather through this tiny slit in the ceiling. So whatever is coming through, it's not even very much of anything. It's just a little misting or a little ray of light. It's so thin and irrelevant, ultimately. It's fine. So happiness, unhappiness, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Fulfilling purpose, not fulfilling purpose, fine. It doesn't matter. In this moment, I feel quite content not to fulfill a purpose. Now, the mind is likely to grab hold of that and twist it around again. That's okay too. I'm not going to try to stop it. I'm just going to keep settling back into this place of, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. There's so much more here that is so much deeper than anything the mind can conjure and throw at us, including emotional sensation. Anyway, I gotta go in. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you for your witness. I love you. Take it easy.